This focus is on what happens not only from predatory lending, but what happens when people lose their job and they have a home. What happens when people get a divorce and they have a home. What happens when people get married to a gold-digging man and they have a home. What happens sometimes is that people get ill, something happens, and all of a sudden, well-intentioned people get in a position where they cannot keep their home. The focus we're going to have today is on foreclosure, not predatory lending. Foreclosure, not bad circumstances, although all of it contributes, it's on foreclosure. So we hope you'll keep that focus as we go through the day. Now, the first activity is not just a presentation sheet. I know you're ready, your pens are ready, you found the page that has some blank space on it, so you don't have to use your own personal notepad. But this is one where you can really get to interact a little bit. We're going to bring up a person who, at one point, was director of a youth build program. We're going to bring up a person who was a consultant for technical assistance for all areas of housing and home ownership, and who is a specialist for Neighborworks America in the campaign for home ownership. But not just that, all that's in the tab. If you flip to it and you're looking for his name, you'll see all that in the tab. But what I found out yesterday is that he's tried bicycle racing also, and that he's been a triathlete. So I know he can get us started. I want to bring up Milton Sharp. Milton, come on up.
Wow, I didn't think he was going to share that much about me. As I kind of listened to that, I wondered who he was talking about at first. Right. Well, good morning. My name is Milton Sharp, and I work for Neighborworks America in the campaign for home ownership. And this morning, what I'd like to do is to try and make an attempt at showing that human beings, which would be us, as it turns out, are wired to make financial mistakes. What's more, we're wired not to learn from them, but to make them again and again. For many of you, that's probably not new news. But if there's any consolation, it's not our fault. We're just plain human beings. So in the past 30 years, academic research has progressed beyond efficient market theory, which kind of mistook human beings for robots, and moved into behavioral finance, which acknowledges that we are in fact breathing, herding, hoarding, pleasure-seeking, pain-avoiding animals who deploy a lucid definition of rational with computer chips. So I'd like to do a quick interactive exercise, which is designed to kind of show the lack of symmetry between precision to acquire or keep resources, called colloquially the bird in the bush, a paradox, and a strong loss aversion or regret attached to any decision where we emotionally may be losing a valuable resource, like our home, money, which might be totally lost. So all that being said, let's kind of jump in. So what I'd like for everyone to do is to stand up. And in a moment, I'm going to show a slide on these two PowerPoints on the side. And what I'd like for you to do is going to be a simple questionnaire. And depending upon the question, there'll be two answers. There'll be an A or a B. If your answer to the question is A, I would like for you to remain standing. If your answer to the question is B, please take a seat. Should I say that again? I'm going to flash a slide that's going to have a question that's up here. Your answer to the question, if your answer is A, the first one, remain standing. If your answer to the question is B, please take a seat. Now, here we go. So assume yourself $300 richer than you are today. And now you're presented with the opportunity to have a sure gain of an additional $100 or a 50% chance to win $200, otherwise nothing. Your answer. A, stand, B, sit. Don't think too much. Whoa, this is good. All right. So just kind of look around. I didn't see too many people take seats. All right. If you sat down, if there's anyone that sat down, please stand back up. I'm going to show another question. Okay. All right. Assume yourselves $500 richer than you are today. And now A. Your answer is A, remain standing. C, no, actually I didn't change it. C, a sure loss of $100, or D, a 50% chance to lose $200, otherwise nothing. A, C, if you're going to stay. D, take a seat. towards a certain decision. There's a gain that I'm going to get. So most of you, in the first exercise, you remained standing because you were guaranteed or you thought you would get a sure gain of $100. Whereas the second one, framing the choice in terms of a loss, increases the chances that people will choose to gamble. And so in the second instance, we actually decided to go with the 50% chance to lose $200, otherwise nothing. So in order to kind of start this game and really talk about framing, what I'd like to do is just tell you a little bit about the framing theory. And so the framing theory suggests that how something is presented, the frame that is put out, influences greatly people's choices that they make. Framing is not per se a bad thing. In fact, it's actually an unavoidable part of human communication. Is a quality of communication that leaves others to accept one meaning over another. So when we think of it, much of us actually go around thinking that the choices we make are the things that we prefer. But in all actuality, we really think that we select choices that are based upon exactly opposites of what we might take if it was posed to us differently. So this is very short, right? Here. So, but in conclusion, it's my hope that as we move toward addressing some of the issues around foreclosure, particularly the ones where folks who are in jeopardy of losing their homes never reach out for assistance and just kind of stick their head in the sand, that we keep in mind this phenomenon and use subtle but effective manipulation to get the herd to do the things that are good for them and move them in the right direction. So let's help them to reframe their thinking and thereby actively help them to change their situation. So I want to keep that very brief and keep it short. I want to thank you all for your participation this morning. But keep in mind as we move forward, and you'll be presented with a lot of information and folks who will be speaking after me around some of the phenomenon of folks who have not reached out for assistance, who've been in foreclosure, that depending on how we frame how we can help them, may also help them to move in a much more positive direction. So thank you.